Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And how are we doing today?
Great.
I'm awake. Whee! Okay, well, that's great. Hey, this is the first time ever doing a Sunday service in shorts. No, not really. I did about 8 of them to different places on Zoom. I have my suit on up here, but my shorts on below. I love Zoom, especially on hot days. So it's about faith and walking in the eye of the storm. Now, you know, we've heard all of this before, and I've talked about this exact same thing today. But it is, the theme for the month is staying centered, and the affirmation is the power that created you is always at work to restore you and to maintain you in wholeness. And that's true. However, we have to access that. So the first thing here I want to talk about is staying centered. And the age-old affirmation I've been using for 40 plus years, and I still need it, and it keeps me focused, is I am calm, I am centered, I am peaceful, and I am poised at all times and in all situations. Easy to say. Try it on for size. And so when we're doing this, that's one of the key elements in faith, is to stand in that light. That's how we stand in the eye of the storm, is by staying that way. However, we have other emotions that try to get in there. And so we got to keep coming back to it, and we got to keep practicing it. But faith is not something that we have for just big events. Because, you know, a lot of times we don't know what to do in big events, so we rely a lot on faith. Faith is something that we need to do and practice every day in everything that we're going to be doing. Anybody ever have any turmoil or distress about going grocery shopping? Yeah, and you see, you can't just stay in faith at one time and not do it at another. It doesn't work. You got to work at staying in there all the time, and if you do it with the little things, then when it's really important, the big things take care of themselves. Like when you're standing on the trail and there you got 8 meters in front of you, a nice big grass. You might say, oh, I don't know if I could stand in faith then. Well, you got to learn how to do it, because if not, it could be critically dangerous. But when you learn to stand in the light like that and work with the animal, there's not a problem. At least I'm 73 and I've been doing it. I was born in the mountains, and I've had over 60 face-to-face encounters with bear, not driving by, I'm talking on the trail. And all the other animals, however, I've walked away unscathed. Why? That's because I don't deal with fear, and I don't deal with all the other stuff that's going on around me, you see. I am calm, I am centered, I am peaceful, and I am poised at all times and in all situations, right? And that means now, it doesn't matter. Just a little thing like that can get you off center. Just a little thing like that can get you disturbed. And when you get off center, you lose your focus. You lose your ability to stand in that place where the power that created you is always at work to restore you and to maintain you in wholeness. And it can do that. So always remember, calmness is power. So one of the things I wanted to talk about here now is what I call the 10 enemies of faith. Now, if you can meet these and recognize them and change them right away, you can minimize the impact of it, and that'll take you right back into the other side. We're also going to talk about another technique I come across for amplifying and building faith. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, we have to be aware of the enemies, because it's just like weeds in the garden. And anybody plant the perfect garden and get weeds this year? I'm the lettuce master. I've gone into raising lettuce, and it's working really well. But don't matter how good the soil is, there's always some of those things that come up that look like lettuce but aren't, and I don't want to eat them, right? So we're always going to pluck the weeds. We're always working on it. So here you go. Let's see if anybody's been in any of these this week. Has anybody been into criticism? And that's not of others, that's of self, children. No, the government. Oh, please. We'll try to leave that one on the side. How about complaint? Anybody been complaining lately? Yeah, and what does it do? It doesn't do anything good except occupy a whole lot of your time, a whole lot of your energy, and make you stinky. That's about the best way I could put it. The third thing is fear. Anybody been afraid lately? Yeah. And you know, with all of the economic stuff and inflation, you're talking about the 40-year inflation rate and all that stuff. Anybody here live over that 40 years ago? I remember it really well. And it sucks. But it's just part of what goes on in life. And so we've got to learn to go with it, but not to be afraid of it. Because I got to tell you, I was pretty concerned and lost my house when my interest rate jumped to 18% on my mortgage. And I was stuck in a 3-bedroom condo with 5 kids and no money. It was pretty scary. Okay? Turn it around. That's the way it is, but that doesn't mean it has to stay there. Turn it around. What did Doug want and work on? I wanted a 3-bedroom house with a deck, fireplace, 2-car garage, southwest view, fridge, stove, dishwasher, and nothing down. How do you like that? I worked on it for 5-6 months, and one day I looked in the wrong section of the newspaper. It was there every day. Northwest Calgary duplex is for sale, and there was some repos for sale in Cochrane. I went out there, found one with a southwest view, 2-car garage, fridge, stove, didn't have the dishwasher, had a deck and a fireplace. I said, would you put the dishwasher in that was in the other place? Yeah. Rented it for 8 months. That was my down payment. How do you like that? But it's really easy to stay into fear, to stay into doubt, and to give your power away to conditions. Blame everybody for the interest rates. I'm going to just use that because I'm talking about it. It doesn't matter what it is. Blame the government. Yeah, well, they're a blame. Blame the interest rates. Doesn't matter who you blame. It's still going to be there. It doesn't go away. And when you blame, you give away your power. I remember somebody said that to me a number of years ago here at Unity after. She said to me, when you said that, you hurt my feelings. And you know what I said? Please, don't give me that much power in your life. Please, accept that when I said that, you chose to have your feelings hurt. Own it, and then you can take it and leave it. But when you blame, you give away all your personal power. Oh, that's good stuff. Anger, any type of anger takes you out of your position. It takes you off center, don't matter what it's for. Resentment, oh, it's easy for, and you know when you get older, you got a lot more things you could be resentful for. I mean, I could give you a list that you wouldn't believe. And would that matter? No, it wouldn't make any good, any difference. It just wastes my time. So resentment and vengeance. Oh, get even with them. I can remember when I first got into New Thought. And I remembered that, you know, when you do it, it comes back. And so something happened. I said, I'm going to get them. I know I'm going to get my butt kicked, but I'm going to do it. And I did it. I got my butt kicked. Cause and effect, folks. I know it. After about 4 or 5 times, it come up again. And, you know, I said, I know I do it, but, you know, I'm tired of getting my butt kicked. So, you know, how many times you got to get your butt kicked before you stop something like that? Ask yourself. Condemnation. Condemning anything, anybody. However, that's not going to do the worst damage to you. Looking in the mirror and condemning yourself is going to do the damage right there. Okay. And of course, the last animal is hatred. No matter what you hate, it's not a good thing. Even if you hate good things. I hate ice cream. No, you love ice cream. You just don't have to eat it. Well, it's hard, but you know. So there's the 10 enemies of faith. If one could just work at abstaining and transferring their energy and attention from that into something more productive, we'd all be better off. Next point. So how do we take this and do something different? I just come across this idea, and I was thinking a lot about it, and it really has to do with your energy on everything and what kind of energy you're projecting. But a guy by the name of Raymond Hollywell, in a book called Working with the Law, which I highly recommend, Working with the Law, Hollywell, he said, and this is what I'm talking about, the art of praise. So he said, praise is complementary to faith. Understanding praise is the application of that understanding. Faith is like a boiler that holds the substance of power, whereas praise is the fuel that generates that power into an active force. You must constantly watch your boiler and care especially for the fuel that charges it in order to get the most out of it. Then the fuel is a very important part of the machinery. Praise is a stimulant of the mind. It quickens, which means stimulates or becomes stimulated prayer. It magnetizes all good around you. It transforms that good into usable, visible substance. Praise is the avenue of prayer through which the spirit law expresses itself. When we are praised or praise ourselves, there is a physical response in the body. So I can look over to Anthony and say, you know, Anthony, I really appreciate you doing that great song on faith to kick in here. You're just something magnificent. Does that make you feel good?
Pretty good.
Yeah. And, you know, I might not even pay any attention to him and say, Anthony, you know, that dog of yours is such a beautiful, good dog. I'm glad that you got him. Does that make you feel good? Because if not, I'll take the dog. Oh, no, sorry.
He's always coming for the dog.
Yeah. So you see, you know, whenever you praise anybody, they feel good, right? Anybody got praise, you feel good. So we're talking about not just doing that randomly. We're talking about, and we don't have to verbalize it because that doesn't really mean much when we're going day to day. As long as we project the energy, because it's all about the energy. Praise is about the energy that we put on things. So I could just say, oh, that was pretty nice, Anthony. Or I could put some energy into it like I did. The energy is what he feels. The words are just the avenue to open up the portals of the mind. It's the energy that makes the impact. Praise is one of the most powerful things. So you can praise any type of experience that you have. So like when you go to the mail and you get your Visa bill, wow, feel good about it, eh? You got something to use without having to pay for it. Now you got to pay, but that's good. Anybody get that excited over your bills? Start getting excited over them to see how things change. And here's the biggest challenge of them all, folks. When was the last time you praised yourself? Not to other people, but just praised yourself. I tried it a couple of times the last few days when I was getting this ready, and I was quite surprised that at first I felt funny doing it. Anybody feel funny when they kick the crap out of themselves? Why not? That's because we're used to it. Try praising yourself and say, geez, Doug, you did a pretty damn good job the other day. That was good. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody else that because it don't matter. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for me because we need to do more praise of who we are and the abilities of what we have to what we do. Very important. One of my other most favorite affirmations that I've got, I come across this one in 1980, long time ago. And every time I got in a tough position, I picked up the book and I read this one statement, and then I threw the book against the wall. And it was a big, thick book. I went through three science of mind textbooks like that over a period of 15 years. Now I don't throw it anymore because I go, oh yeah, just get back on track. But it was something that Ernest Holmes says, that it doesn't matter how difficult the situation or how nice with the situation, okay? It's what he says, and he says this: stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal this attitude. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. Book against the wall. When things look the worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves, and here it are, there are no obstructions to the operations of truth. That keeps the channel open, clear, and free. And he says, when things look the worst, that is the best time to work, the most satisfying time, and the person who could throw himself with a complete abandon into that limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all apparent moorings, is the one who will always receive the greatest reward. So no matter what, that's how we want to position our consciousness. And Hollywell talks a lot about praise. He says, when everything is falling apart, find something to praise. Change your energy. Change your focus. Change your attention. Change it on what you want and what you got. Anybody been down where they've been so low that they didn't think there was anything for them, but you did have one good quality left? Focus on that. Praise that. And that'll raise you from the pits of hell right out into the joys of heaven. Last idea, set yourself in the eye of the storm. How do we get into the eye of the storm? Well, we got the affirmation, but we also work with the attitude of gratitude. Find something to be grateful for. It don't matter what the situation is. Always look for the gift. I remember in 97 when I went through and lost everything, bankruptcy, burnout, the whole thing. I was devastated. I had nothing. But you know, one of the key focuses I remembered to do and did was to focus on looking for the gifts in the situation. Because when you look for the gift in any tragedy or any situation, then you rise like the phoenix from the ashes, the mythical bird phoenix, and you continue on. So always look for the gift. Now, I want to close with this one comment here, and it's going to lead into another comment that I'm going to make later when I talk to Susan. Actually, I was thinking a lot about Susan when I did this whole talk, so this was for you here. And the last comment I'm going to make is probably one of the most important things that we can realize in our journey. Every new beginning comes from another beginning's end. So life is a series of endings and beginnings. I use Susan. I watched her begin with Katie. It's hard to talk about Susan without talking about Katie. Actually, I can't do it, to be honest with you, in some ways. But I watched them go through the transition of the decimation of the old here in Unity, and then the creation of the new is what we are experiencing. What is it now? 10 years, is it?
11 years.
11 years. And now it's another time of change for Susan because it's another ending. So she's going to an ending into a new beginning, but this new beginning comes from the other beginning's end. And the way is to realize that we're constantly going through change in life, and it's how we go through it that's going to determine the impact on where we go from here on. Okay? So in this case, it's looking like a fairly seamless change. Except inside Susan. We're not talking about what's going on inside her. Okay? But on the outside, it's fairly seamless. It's going the right way. But it's that hell in the hallways that we go through when the old is going and the new's calling. There's a sadness and the excitement, and there's that hell in the hallway. So it's all about the transitions. And so we're constantly in a state of transition. And so today, we want to stay centered in that attitude of gratitude. We want to stay centered with inside of ourselves, and we want to empower ourselves so we go forward praising ourselves for the goodness that we have, the accomplishments that we've made, the talents that we have, what we give, and all of that other stuff that we thought about ourselves is all useless. So we let it disappear into the false nothingness from what it comes. Because I know for me, as I know for each and every one here, God is good, God is great, so am I, and so it is.
So it is.